Deep in the lawless expanse of the Raven sector, where plasma storms howled like damned souls, and derelict ships drifted like ancient bones, there sat a place the honest folk of the galaxy pretended didn't exist. The vultures' roost. This massive station, built from the twisted remains of 100 failed escapes, was home to the most notorious pirates this side of the galactic core. In its rotting belly lay the Captain's Rest, a tavern where the sector's most dangerous outlaws came to spend their plunder or plot their next score. The air hung thick with exotic smoke, and the reek of spilled grog from a dozen worlds.
"Arr, the voy's been mighty quiet of late,"
growled Captain Blackspine, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the blood-red light of a dying star through the viewport. His fearsome crew sprawled around a table fashioned from an old fusion core. First mate Squish, a mass of transparent protoplasm, who'd earned his name by sliding through ship hulls to unlock them from the inside. Gunner's mate Razormouth, whose cybernetic jaw could bite through battleship armor. And old Doc Tendrils, who patched up more dying pirates than there were stars in the void.
"Aye,"
Squish burbled nervously, his translucent form rippling with concern.
"Too quiet if you ask me. Empire's up to something."
"Word from the core worlds is they're gathering a fleet." Razormouth's synthetic voice crackled like static in a solar storm. "Not just any fleet neither. They're bringing the dreadnoughts out of mothballs."
"Must be hunting something fierce important."
Doc Tendrils' appendages writhed anxiously around his mug.
"Or someone."
The very mention made the assembled pirates shift uncomfortably. Tales had been spreading through the void, whispers of a human pirate who blooded the Empire's nose one too many times.
"Humans."
Blackspine clicked his mandibles.
"Craziest species in the galaxy. No backup organs, no proper armor plating, just guts and something they call instinct. Saw one take on a Kraken-class dreadnought with nothing but a broken-down freighter once. Madness it was."
The station's ancient airlock cycled with a screech like tortured metal. Through the decontamination mist stepped a figure that made every pirate's blood run cold, or whatever passed for blood in their various anatomies. The human stood tall, his pressure suit bearing the scars of 1,000 battles. His face was a map of old wounds, but his eyes, they burned with the cold fire of distant stars. This was a man who stared into the void until the void blinked first.
"Seven hells,"
Squish whispered, trying to flatten himself against the deck plates.
"Is Madjack Sterling himself?"
Sterling moved through the crowd like a hunting predator, each step measured and deadly. Pirates with bounties higher than planetary ransoms scrambled to clear his path. He reached the bar, the silence so complete you could hear the station's ancient life support systems wheezing. "Whiskey." His voice was rough as meteor impacts. The real stuff. Before the robotic bartender could respond, the station's alert system howled to life. "Imperial Dreadnought Squadron detected. Omega-class vessels confirmed. All ships will be boarded. Resistance is futile."
"3 dreadnoughts,"
Squish reported, extending a sentry tendril toward the viewport.
"By the void. They brought the Black Fleet itself."
Sterling turned slowly, surveying the panicked crowd. "You lot want to live free another day?" His voice cut through the chaos like a laser through void steel. "I've got a plan that'll make us rich as planetary governors or dead as space dust. Either way, they'll remember us in every port from here to the core."
"You're mad as a solar-touched Venusian,"
Blackspine clicked.
"The Black Fleet, they'll turn us to cosmic dust."
Sterling's grin was sharp as a neutron star's edge. "Those big ships of theirs, they're built for fighting other big ships. But we..." He gestured to the assembled pirates. "We're vermin. Rats in the void. And sometimes the smallest enemies are the deadliest." What followed was the most audacious plan ever hatched in the history of space piracy. Sterling's ship, the Redemption, was a hybrid monster of forbidden tech and desperate innovation. But it would take more than one ship to pull this off. "We hit him in the storm maze," Sterling explained, calling up a holographic map of the sector. Those plasma storms will play hell with their fancy targeting systems.
The storm maze?
Doc Tendril's appendages crawled tight with fear.
That's suicide. Ain't no ship that can navigate those storms.
No proper ship, Sterling corrected. But we ain't proper pirates, are we? The plan took shape like a brewing stellar storm. Each pirate brought their own brand of mayhem to the table. Squish knew how to disable shield generators from the inside. Razormouth's neural interface could hack Imperial comms. Black Spine's crystalline body could refract sensor scans. They spent the next hour preparing for what would surely be either the greatest heist in history, or the most spectacular death run since the fall of Mars. The vultures' roost came alive with activity, as word spread and more pirates joined the cause. Some came for the promise of riches, others for the chance to bloody the Empire's nose, but all were drawn to the madness of Sterling's plan. The battle that followed would be sung about in pirate havens for centuries to come. They called it the Dance of the Damned, a ballet of destruction orchestrated by a human madman and performed by the sector's most notorious rogues. Sterling's redemption led the Imperial fleet into the heart of the plasma storms, where reality itself bent and twisted. Behind him came a ragtag fleet of pirate vessels, each chosen for their specific role in this insane performance. Now this! Sterling's voice crackled over the comms as they dove into the maelstrom. Is proper pirating. The plasma storms roared around them, great tendrils of energy that could tear a ship apart in seconds. But Sterling navigated them like a man possessed, leading the Imperial dreadnoughts deeper into the chaos. Their superior shields meant nothing here. In fact, they were a disadvantage, drawing the storm's fury like massive lightning rods. Squish and his infiltration team struck first, slipping through microscopic gaps in the dreadnoughts' hulls. They found the shield generators exactly where Sterling said they'd be. Within minutes, the mighty Imperial vessels were naked against the storm's fury. The battle reached its crescendo when Sterling executed what would become known as the Madman's Gambit. He drove the Redemption straight through an Imperial dreadnought's bridge, but not before Squish had sabotaged its artificial gravity. The resulting gravitational backlash created a temporary wormhole that sucked two dreadnoughts into each other. As the pirate fleet scattered into the void, their hulls heavy with Imperial plunder, Sterling's voice crackled one last time over the comms. Scatter and hide, ye dogs of space. We'll meet at the roost when the dust settles. The ragtag fleet split apart like shattered glass, each ship vanishing into their own corners of space. Some dove into the asteroid fields of the Crimson Belt. Others disappeared into the swirling clouds of the Ghost Nebula. The Empire's remaining ships, broken and humbled, could only watch as their prey melted away into the black. 3 weeks later, the Captain's Rest was alive with celebration. The loot had been divided, the tales were being told, and the drinks flowed like solar wind. But Sterling sat apart from the revelry, studying a curious device he'd liberated from the Imperial flagship's sealed vault.
What's caught your eye, Captain?
Squish burbled, sliding onto the bar stool beside him. The amorphous pirate extended a tendril toward the device, which looked ancient despite its advanced construction. Sterling turned it in his scarred hands. Ever heard of the lost fleet of the damned? Every pirate in known space knew that tale. 50 years ago, the most feared pirate armada in history, 40 ships strong under the command of Admiral Mad Dog McKenna, had vanished while attempting something no one had ever achieved: a jump to the Andromeda Galaxy. Most believed they'd been torn apart in the void between galaxies. Some said the Empire had finally caught them, but no one ever found a trace of McKenna or his fleet.
Aye,
Squish rippled nervously.
But that's ancient history now. They're long dead in the deep black.
Maybe not. Sterling's eyes gleamed like distant stars. He activated the device and a holographic message flickered to life, distorted but clearly showing a human figure in an ancient pirate captain's coat. This is Admiral McKenna of the Lost Fleet. The static-filled recording crackled. We made it. God help us all, we made it to Andromeda. But what we found here... The image distorted heavily. Vast empire spanning the entire... technology beyond anything. Preparing an invasion fleet. Must warn the Milky Way. Need reinforcements. Following coordinates. The message died in a burst of static. The assembled pirates sat in stunned silence.
7 hells.
Black Spine clicked his mandibles.
If McKenna's fleet really made it.
Think about it. Sterling leaned forward. Why has the Empire been pushing so hard into the Outer Rim? Building bigger ships? Fortifying the galaxy's edge? He gestured to the device. They've had this recording for years. They know something's coming. Or maybe nothing's coming. Razormouth's synthetic voice crackled thoughtfully.
Maybe there's riches beyond imagining waiting in Andromeda. Maybe McKenna's fleet found paradise, and the Empire's been keeping it secret.
Only one way to find out. Sterling grinned, that mad grin that had become legendary across the sector. He produced a small data crystal. Complete coordinates for McKenna's jump route, pulled right from the Imperial flagship's navigation computer. All we need is a ship big enough to make the jump.
And where do we get something like that?
Doc Tendrils asked, his medical appendages twitching with interest. Sterling's grin widened. Ever heard of the Imperial shipyards at Nexus 9? Word is they're building something special out there. Something big enough to bridge galaxies. The pirates exchanged glances. They just pulled off the greatest heist in recent memory. They were rich beyond their dreams. But there wasn't a proper pirate born who could resist the lure of not just treasure, but of being one of the first crews to truly bridge the gap between galaxies. And perhaps save their own galaxy in the process. What's the plan, Captain? Razormouth's mechanical jaw clicked eagerly. Sterling took another drink of whiskey, his eyes reflecting the light of distant galaxies. First, we need a bigger crew. And I know just where to find one. The prison hulks of Nuva Tortuga. Then we'll need to acquire some specialized equipment from those Imperial shipyards.
That's suicide.
Black Spine's crystalline form shimmered with alarm.
The security at Nexus 9 is legendary.
Aye, Sterling agreed. Which is why no one's ever tried it. Until now. As the pirates huddled around the star charts, plotting their next grand adventure, the celebration continued around them. But in the darker corners of the captain's rest, other eyes watched. Other ears listened. And somewhere in the vast black between galaxies, something stirred. Though whether it was McKenna's lost fleet, an Andromedan invasion force, or something else entirely, remained to be seen. But that, as they say in the Outer Rim, is a tale for another day.